Something I've come to learn over the years is that some of the scariest things aren't the unknown, but rather things that we are used to knowing or seeing, but in a completely different context. That's what really scares us. Prime example, people. There are nearly 8 billion people on this world. We interact with humans daily, but we find a dead one, boom, traumatized. If travel broadens horizons and horror heightens the senses, then the two combined should pack a powerful punch. Hey, I'm your host, Jade Arena. Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. On today's list, we are going to be looking at the top 10 scary places where human skulls have been found. As always, guys, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, stick around for the whole list because I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts, which you guys love so much. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, a glacial lake full of human skeletons in India. In 1942, a forest ranger was hiking near India's Rupkund Lake, perched some 5,029 meters in the Himalayas, and he stumbled across a startling discovery. There was a shallow grave glacial lake that was surrounded by human skeletons. When summer came and the ice melted, hundreds of skeletons were revealed, some with flesh and hair still attached. Who had gone out of the way to kill all these people and turned a remote high-altitude lake in an uninhabited part of the Himalayas into a mass grave? Theories range from an epidemic to landslides to ritual suicides. Some scientists even think a hailstorm killed these people. They also say the best time to visit this place is during the summer when all the ice is melted, because then you can see all the bodies. But I guess that depends on what kind of vacation you want to have. Coming in at number 9, the Capuchin Catacombs in Palermo, Sicily, Italy. On the outer edges of the city of Palermo, in the basement of an old monastery, lies over 8,000 preserved bodies. The Capuchin Catacombs of Palermo date back to the 16th century, when its monks learned that the subterranean galleries possessed a natural preservative that helped mummify the dead bodies. The people who were buried in these catacombs were either wealthy or of high ranking within the church. All of them were well dressed in their finest clothes, ready to impress the heavens with their godly drip. The must-see is a little girl named Rosalia, whose body is so well preserved they've nicknamed her Sleeping Beauty. Sweet dreams, guys. Coming in at number 8 is the City of the Dead, Ossetia, Russia. Just outside the village of Dargaus in North Ossetia, set in a mountain ridge, lies the necropolis called the City of the Dead. The ancient tombs built above ground belong to the people who lived in the valley and who buried their loved ones there. The reason for doing so is unknown, but the crypt still houses skeletons, clothing, and possessions of people who have all been put up there. There is folklore that during the plague, people who had no one left to bury them would crawl into the crypts with the rest of their families and await death. Yes, you heard it right. People actually snuggled in next to the dead bodies of their loved ones and waited to die. I have so many questions for these people, but I don't think anyone's available for comment. Coming in hot at number 7 on this list is the Actun Tunicil Muknal Cave in Belize. Also known as the Cave of the Crystal Sepulchre, the Actun Tunicil Muknal Cave is an old Mayan burial site, home to skeletons of people who were given to the Mayan gods as a ritual sacrifice. The caves are a recent discovery, having only been found in 1989. They can only be accessed by swimming, but it is well worth the effort as the skeletons and the Mayan pottery remain almost untouched. A must-see skeleton is an adolescent girl nicknamed the Crystal Maiden, who sparkles from the calcification that happened to her bones. That's really how I want to be in my afterlife. I want my skeleton to be so damn swagged that people will swim through a haunted cave just to see me. That's how you know when you look unbelievably fresh. We're bringing you the Skull Chapel in Czermina, Poland. The Skull Chapel in Poland houses bones of people who died during the 30-year and the Silesian War, as well as the cholera outbreaks. A Czech priest named Valkav Tomasek and a local gravedigger called J. Langer arranged 3,000 skulls and bones in a chapel. It took them years to complete the project, finally finishing in 1804. Particular arrangements are laid out for special viewings, including skulls with bullet holes, syphilis, and the skull of a giant. But the real surprise, there are 21,000 additional human remains beneath the trap door. The dude who probably popped open that trap door for the first time was like, "Oh my god, what's down here?" Oh, it's more bones. It's definitely more bones. Of course it's more bones. We are at the halfway point on the list with number 5. We've got Museo de las Momias in Mexico. The English translation of this is the Museum of the Mummies. El Museo de las Momias is the testament of the Mexicans' recognition of death. The museum displays a collection of 111 bones who were dug up from their graves when the relatives of the bodies couldn't pay the grave tax, an initiative that started to make more room for bodies during the cholera outbreak in 1865. When the bodies were extracted, experts found that because of the dryness of the soil, they were naturally mummified. But it wasn't until 1980 that it officially became a museum. A museum full of dead people sounds so cool. You could go in alone, and then you leave with some ghost dude who wants to be your friend. And can we all just acknowledge for a minute that there was a grave tax? Is that still a thing? Do you have to pay taxes to put someone you love in the ground? That just sounds evil. Coming in at number 4, we have the Capuchin Mummy Caves in the Philippines. Located in the northern part of the Philippines, the Capuchin Mummy Caves were reportedly built in 2000 BC through to the 16th century. The mummies are said to have been from the Ibeloid tribes, who have practiced embalming rituals for thousands of years. They were also known as the fire mummies because the Ibeloid tribes used a smoking process to preserve the bodies of the deceased. The site was declared by Monument Watch as one of the 100 most endangered sites in the world, and it's listed as a natural cultural treasure in the Philippines. That is cool. Let's go see the dead people in the dead people cave. You could do like a dance party there. You could have a rave with all these dead people live and dead people dancing to electronic music. That would be sick. I'm down for it. Let's do it. At number 3, we have Capela dos Ossos of Vorak, Portugal. When we run this one through Google Translates, we learn that we've just said Chapel of the Bones. This eerie monument makes you feel like you are constantly being watched. The interior of the chapel was covered with an estimated 5,000 human skulls, dug up from cemeteries in the 16th century when there was little room left in those cemeteries. A monk at the time decided to use the bones creatively, and the skulls were served as memento mori for visitors, with an encouraging phrase over the entrance that translates to, "We, the bones that are here, await for yours." I mean, that does sound super dark and creepy, but really that's just a skeleton's version of a welcome mat. It's actually kind of basic if you ask me. It's like all the bones in there just came from different levels of Karen. I bet if you dug a little deeper, you could find a live, laugh, love poster in that cave made out of femurs. At number 2, we have the Catacombs of Paris, France, possibly the most famous in the world for human skulls because it was deemed the largest grave for its sheer number of inhabitants and stretches over 300 kilometers. Underneath the romantic city of Paris lies a huge network of subterranean tunnels and caves with an unseemly history. The tunnels were transformed into a burial ground in the later part of the 18th century when mass cemeteries began overflowing. Although only parts of the catacombs are open to the general public, there are many secret entrances where adventurers named cataphiles have explored and used them for a number of purposes, even hosting parties. Talk about a bucket list speakeasy. See, this is what I'm talking about. These guys are doing the catacomb party. You can't have a bad time if all the ghosts of your ancestors are partying with you. It's like math or something, I don't know. And after you have the party, you don't even have to clean up. Like what, someone gonna walk in and be like, who did this? Who left this mess? No, it's everyone's dead, dude. No one's gonna care. And the moment you have all been waiting for, number 1 on the list, Sedlec Ossuary, Kunta Hora, Czech Republic. Also known as the Church of Bones, the Sedlec Ossuary is one of the most visited tourist attractions in the Czech Republic. This one comes in at number 1 today because of its sheer volume and presentation of human skulls that can be found just 1 hour away from Prague by train. The church holds 40,000 skeletons whose bones have been skillfully arranged in chandeliers, guard lands, and other decorative features. The arrangements were created by a local woodcarver named Franz Print, who in 1870 was employed for the job, and whose signature can be found all over the place, of course in bone. If we look past how many bones are laid out, you have to realize for a moment that one dude did all of this. I don't know where he will fall in the history books. Will people look back on this guy as one of the great artists that never got the recognition that he deserved? Or will people think that he's just some weirdo who liked to play with dead people? Well, I guess we'll never know, but let's go with the former and get out of this bone house. Alright everyone, that has been our list, and as promised, I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. I pick new pets every day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. I usually pick a message last, so if you didn't get picked, you can just message again. Message me as many times as you want. If it takes me a little while to get back to you, I'm very sorry. I have a lot of these to do. And without taking any longer, let's shout out some pets. First up, we have Molly, who looks like the sweetest puppy of all time with those eyes. Oh my god, she might actually be perfect. Next up, we have Gracie, who's the cutest little snuggle dog I have ever seen. She's the kind of little dog you want to be on the couch with and just snuggle her so much. It feels so good. And we have beautiful black dog with a huge smile on his face. Look how happy that guy looks. Oh, I love it. And right after that, we have Rosie, who looks so fluffy. It's not even fair. She's hogging all the fluff, but I'm gonna let it slide because she's so darn cute. And to close it out, we have Gray, who is a great looking cat with a very serious stare. I know he means business. All right, everyone, that is all we have for you today. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been your host, Chedorena, and hopefully your bones get laid out in some cool, decorative way for people to appreciate. Bye.